The Apprentice. No, not the TV show, The Apprentice. The Apprentice movie, a Trump biopic. Did you know, Brian, came out on October 11th?
I did. It was Sebastian Stan, bro.
Sebastian Stan. There's actually some pretty interesting people in this movie. Not only Sebastian Stan, but Jeremy Irons and some other people you will recognize. But what's got some people up in arms, especially Donald Trump, is they were trying to put a stop to this movie coming out. It came out in the Cannes Film Festival, and they tried to stop it. And essentially, it came out anyways. And the fact that it came out 1 month exactly before the election really raises some interesting questions. What'd you say?
No, obviously they're trying to affect the election. I mean, come on, Shane. Are you doing what?
I'm trying to be a professional journalist here.
Okay, is that what you're okay? I apologize.
I'm asking you, like, do
you're
you
right.
think
You're right.
this could possibly...
For some reason, whenever we do our show, I act like we're just having a conversation when I know you have to ask the question to set it up. And I get that.
I'm trying to be professional here.
Yeah. I get it. You're trying to be Brett right now, and I'm totally being Kamala. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Let me get bad with you. This is Brian. You're not answering the question. Okay, so listen. I'm asking again.
I was.
Okay.
Sit
up straight. Wipe your mouth. Okay, here we go.
No. You're okay. You're completely right. It's right before the election, so you can look at it two ways. Ready? We're going to release a movie about the leading candidate, and that's the best time to release it because we're going to get the most amount of buzz for it. But that you'd be wrong, because in reality, if you're going to make that movie, it should have came out over the summertime when the most amount of people would be going to watch the movies, and he would still be at peak. Donald Trump is still going to be at the top of his popularity game regardless. They did it at this point because they want to affect the election. But here's where they went wrong. Ready? Who was the movie for? Trump supporters aren't going to watch a hit piece.
No, they don't care.
And never Trumpers don't want to watch anything about Trump.
Yeah. So that's the problem with the movie. So I was going to lead into this. This is good. It's a good catch by you. So what we can do is we're going to talk a little bit more about this movie, but let's show the box office numbers first. I did send you an image on that Unleashed channel.
Okay.
Let's show the image. This is today's numbers of box office numbers. Now the movie came out last week, and as you can see, The Apprentice is listed at number 9.
No, number 10.
Number 10.
Oh no, number 9. You're right. I'm sorry.
Right below a re-release of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So not a lot of people are going to see this movie.
Oh my God. So what you're saying is a re-release of an extremely old movie that is
it's making more money.
I mean, let's just get this right. A re-release of an extremely old holiday-themed movie is doing better than your big, brand new, shiny hit piece.
Yes.
Incredible. I mean, look at these. Look at the dailies on this thing, dude. It's not making a penny, is it?
It's not. But I'll tell you, a lot of people are going a long ways to try to make this seem like it's not a hit piece. You've got the director and the actors all talking about how it not being a hit piece, but I've uncovered some information that's going to show you exactly.
Yeah, the director is Ali Abbasi, and that guy is a total brainwashed TDS mess.
So they all are, but there's actually, it has to do with the distributor. But first, let's talk about what's happened in the film. So they decided they're going to make a film about Donald Trump's life. This started way back in 2018. When the writer for the biopic, as a New York guy who covered Trump back in the day, decided he was going to write a script about it. But the director that you just mentioned, Ali Abbasi, had just come out with another movie. I think it was I can't remember which one. It was like a monster movie, right? Not something that wasn't super popular. But people in Hollywood at that time were telling him, you need to do a biopic about Trump. They were like pushing him to do it, right? He talks about this in an interview. But, he realized, he even mentions it, well, he knew that all they wanted to do was burn up Trump because he was in office. He was president at the time.
Right.
But the guy said he seriously wanted to do like a real movie about Trump. He didn't want to make it until he'd learned more about him. So in this movie, what you find, and whether or not the things in this movie are true or not, and it does say at the beginning of this movie, when you watch it, that parts of this movie are fictional. right? It does say that at the beginning, because in order to make the story more interesting, they had to fictionalize some things. But some of the things that are included,
that's what because viewers always see that tag and never form an opinion.
Well, of course, they're going to think that this is what it really is. And there are a lot of elements from Trump's life that are in here. So one of the things that they really focus on is the relationship between Trump and Roy Cohn, who was kind of his mentor, thug, lawyer for years. And they insinuate that there's some sort of a erotic homosexual relationship, or that Cohn was in love with Trump, essentially. And they sort of make this strange connection that he actually loved Trump in a more than as his lawyer way, like in a man-to-man way. They also talk about.
So this guy also did the Last of Us and the two man-on-man episodes.
Okay, got it. Well, yeah. So that's not. I mean, they do see. Apparently, Cohn does have some sort of interesting relationship history, but the point is they have that in there. They've got Trump raping his Ivana Trump, his previous wife, who she did say in a courtroom thing that he had pushed himself on her, had actually raped her, I think. So they used all of these elements in this movie, and they did what basically is, it just doesn't make Trump look very good. But it also did a weird thing where it kind of humanizes Trump, and it shows that really this guy Cohn is the reason, like, made Trump. It's very strange. Now, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen a lot of things about it. Now, here's what's really interesting. Independent film distributor Tom Ortenberg. Now, have you ever heard that name before? Probably not, right?
No.
Okay. Tom Orton, he's the guy who distributed the movie. Nobody in Hollywood would touch it. Nobody would touch it because it was one of those things where, listen, nobody wants to be involved in something like this.
Of course not.
But here's the problem. Not only is Tom Ortenberg a donor to the Kamala Harris presidential campaign, okay? So he's the one who distributed it when no one else would. So that's why you're getting this piece coming out a month before, because that's exactly what he wanted. In 2016, guess what? He endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. And then he tried to distribute Hillary's America movie just before the primaries, when the two were going against each other.
So this guy he's like old school Hollywood.
And guess what? Let's go back even further. Fahrenheit 9/11, Michael Moore. He distributed that movie just before the George W. Bush election.
So he's like Hollywood propaganda guy.
This is what Tom Ortenberg is. He is trying to kill whoever he doesn't support. That's it. And he's trying to kill him with whatever he can do from the film standpoint. So
Which is exactly what Hollywood was created for, that purpose. So it's not surprising.
People won't touch it. And this guy's an independent film distributor. So most of the major distributing houses won't do these movies. But Tom Ortenberg will if it's against the candidate he doesn't want to win. So it is a hit piece, even though a lot of the people are saying it's not a hit piece. It 100% is, but here's the deal. Nobody's watching it. And honestly, if Trump would just shut up about it and stop talking about it, because he's been very vocal about how he feels, which, as you can tell, was not going to be very nice about this whole thing. The best thing he can do is ignore it, and it'll be gone in 2 weeks. Now, I am interested in seeing the movie. I definitely want to see what this take on it is. And I
got to tell you, this poster goes hard. Good poster.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some good actors in it. It's got some interesting, and I want to see it. But when I watch it, I will understand that it may not all be true. There may be elements of truth to it, but it is one of those movies where it may not be true.
Yeah, but you're smarter than the average guy, bro. You know, I think a lot of people, I'm glad it's not doing well, because a lot of people are just not that, I'm gonna be nice here and say informed, and they'd be like, you see, Trump raped a woman, not even realizing any of the context or anything about it being his wife or whatever. And just like, they're gonna, like, this is definitely going, if this had been successful to some degree, you know, it would have been bad overall for Trump's image. But because no one's watching it, no one cares.
Well, and I think I would have respected the idea of doing this film more if it had happened after the election, win or lose. You know, whether he wins or loses, you put it out.
Right.
But, I get you're trying to, you're trying to not only make a bunch of money at the theater, but you're also trying to have Trump lose the election. But I think this is going to backfire because, as you can see from the numbers, it's only made $2 million at the box office. And it was released to almost 1,200 theaters, which is a wide release. So that's pretty scary.
It's weird. Like, if they want to make Trump look bad, you don't get the Winter Soldier to play you.
Well, like I said, I'm not certain that the director and the actors wanted to necessarily, I think they really wanted to tell a story about Trump that was true, based on their demented, twisted sense of it. But I think by listening to a lot of the interviews, they were trying to, I think they were actually worried that they weren't making him look bad. Like they were humanizing him too much.
Yeah, he's like walking in New York, just like casually looking around the big building. Yeah, I mean, the trailer makes him look like sort of a badass.
Well, and they make it look like this guy Cohn created Trump. That's what supposedly what the movie is. Like Trump was fine until this guy got a hold of him. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But it, I just thought that was interesting. It came out just this last week, and if you guys are interested in it, I mean, go watch it. And just note that it may not be 100% true.